Hey, welcome to Sports and Politics with T. I'm your host, Tanya. Tonight we have made it back to Thursday, guys. Listen, I hope everybody's enjoyed their week so far. We are already getting into that second week of September. Let's go, y'all. Let's go. Yes, we are getting in to that second week. Listen, a lot of things have transpired this week, and I apologize to my to my subscribers and all the people on the channel, and some of the people that was expecting the show on Monday. Had some things to come up, had some things I had to take care of that was unexpected. But guess what, guys? There is no excuse. I am back in full effect. And guess what? We've got a lot of good stuff to talk about tonight. A lot of stuff that we need to dissect as far as the racial climate and the political climate of America. Tonight, we are going to talk about a horrific thing that took place on yesterday with Charlie Kirk, who was recently in an engagement yesterday on the University of Utah. And he was fatally shot yesterday while he was speaking at a student campus event. So I'm definitely going to dissect this as far as what I felt about this whole thing. And it was terrible, guys. The video that I saw and some of the stuff that, took place, I'm going to let you know how I feel. But we're also going to talk about, on the second half of the show, that Donald Trump has decided to remove Secret Service protection against Kamala Harris. Yes. So on one end, we need protection, but on the other end, you're taking away protection, So we're going to dissect that as well, because most vice presidents, even after they leave office, they still supposed to have Secret Service protecting them, as far as going out and things like that. So we're going to talk about these two things tonight. And so let's go ahead and get started. This is with CNN. This happened on yesterday. Charlie Kirk, who lost his life yesterday, he was fatally shot at the University of Utah. Once this is over, I'm going to let you know how I feel about this situation, and then I'll dissect this video once it's complete.
This is CNN Breaking News.
We have breaking news to CNN. A source tells CNN that Trump ally and the founder of Turning Points USA, Charlie Kirk, was shot at an event on a college campus in Utah.
And the extent of Kirk's injuries at this point are not immediately clear. Let's talk now with CNN's Kristen Holmes. We have CNN political director David Chalian with us as well. Kristen, what can you tell us?
Brianna and Boris, I want to be very clear. I cannot tell you that much right now because this is a very fluid situation. People are still trying to figure out the details, the extent of the injury, and what exactly unfolded on that Utah campus. As we have reported, Charlie Kirk is a close ally of President Trump's. Not only that, he is somebody who helped him get elected this cycle. He is often seen here at the White House. He runs Turning Point USA, which is a youth organization where he's tried to galvanize thousands of voters, Republican voters. He's also a controversial figure at times. He goes into these various college campuses, pushes conservative issues, gets into heated back and forth often with these students on these college campuses. But of course, none of that is violent. This is the first time we've seen this kind of reaction, obviously. So what we know right now, everyone is monitoring the situation. He was shot during this event on this Utah campus, and they are still unclear what exactly the extent of those injuries is. There are a lot of videos circulating right now on social media that are showing the crowds running away after gunshots went off. But again, we are still going through all of this and talking to sources to figure out what exactly happened and how Kirk is doing at this time.
Hey, North Carolina homeowners, if your AC unit is more than 5 years old, you could...
Kristen, please stand by. David, as we work to confirm some of these videos that are circulating online and we try to get an awareness of the status of Kirk's health, it's important to step back and point out the impact that he's had in recent years on politics, and certainly conservative politics. He's turned this sort of grassroots organization, Turning Points USA, into a juggernaut when it comes to connecting youth conservatives and the conservative agenda on college campuses.
Without a doubt. I mean, first let me say that my prayers are with Charlie Kirk right now, and I'm sure everybody watching feels the same. This is horrific to see what we're seeing here. You couldn't be more spot on, Boris. I can't sort of understate what Charlie Kirk has done inside the Republican Party as a force, especially around mobilizing younger voters. That's sort of how TPUSA first got its movement. But he is a talk radio host on conservative radio. He's the organizer of this group, does a ton of speaking publicly around the country. You can't go to any kind of sort of big convening of Republicans, and he is not a force there with an enormous following. In fact, I was looking on social media, on Twitter, at 2:24, so not even 30 minutes ago, 29 minutes ago, he had posted images of himself before this huge crowd at Utah Valley University there outside of Provo, and he said, we're so back. You could see there was enthusiasm. He was passing hats around. You can watch him on video. This was posted half an hour ago of him doing that and greeting this crowd. He is somebody that the Trump campaign, as Kristen was noting, utilized very effectively to harness his leadership in this conservative activist movement, again, with young people, young men specifically. We've talked about this a lot when we look back. Charlie Kirk is the heart of that effort. They relied on him and his organization a lot for their ground game in a lot of the states around the country. And so this is somebody who obviously has a huge voice inside conservative American politics, a big Trump supporter, but obviously now, in this really unfortunate, horrific experience, is going to be at the center of a conversation about political violence, I would imagine, that we're going to be having in the aftermath of this horrific event.
Oh, certainly. And there's a lot of reason to be concerned right now as we do not know his status. We don't know how he's doing, and we're awaiting word, certainly, of that. As you mentioned, it says a lot about where we are as a nation when it comes to violence in politics. Can you talk a little bit about what he was doing in Utah? He was going to universities to speak to young people.
Yeah, and organizing them. And again, that's why I was literally, you can just bring it up from his Twitter page a little while ago. You can see it's not just like, sometimes you might go to an event at a college campus and it's a smattering of people. And that is not what Charlie Kirk brings. He has a following and an energy around him with young people. And so, yes, he is on college campuses quite often all around the country doing this kind of political organizing, in addition to his sort of speaking at places like CPAC or other big events. He is big on college campuses. And as I was saying, the Trump campaign has harnessed him into his network of followers in terms of their ground game operation in this last campaign. It was fundamental to their success.
And to that point, he spoke at the RNC in 2024, and we just saw a tweet put out by J.D. Vance, the vice president, saying, quote, "Say a prayer for Charlie Kirk, a genuinely good guy and a young father." I believe that we're joined now by CNN senior law enforcement analyst Charles Ramsey. And actually, before we get to Chief Ramsey, here's a post from FBI Director Kash Patel. "We're closely monitoring reports of the tragic shooting involving Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. Our thoughts are with Charlie, his loved ones, and everyone affected. Agents will be on the scene quickly, and the FBI stands in full support of the ongoing response and investigation." Chief Ramsey, I wonder if you can paint for us a picture of what an investigation like this, as you just saw there from the FBI director, to which agents are just responding on a college campus at an event where it appears that Kirk was surrounded by a multitude of attendants.
Well, obviously, there's a lot we don't know yet. This just occurred, but they would do everything they can to contain the scene. The shooter may very well be someone who is being held by other members in the crowd. We don't know that. Hopefully, his injuries are not too severe. So I'm certainly hoping that that's the case. But right now, it's a case where they're going to bring in resources to do what they can. It was a large gathering on a college campus. So no doubt we have a lot of witnesses that need to be interviewed, but you have a crime scene now. And that crime scene has to be protected. That crime scene has to be processed. So all the things that you would typically do in any shooting incident, you would be doing right now.
Yeah, I'm going to chime in for just a second about all of this. First, let me just say this, guys. I honestly, I didn't really look at Charlie Kirk that much. I had seen him throughout the years, and I do remember him having a lot of, campus type meetings and campus, debates and, things like that. Let me just say this, condolences to the family. Okay, prayers and thoughts are with you because I think he did have children and he was married and all that. And but I'm gonna say this, I might lose a few people, and that's okay. Um, we have to be careful how we say things and what we say because in this type of environment and in the type of climate that we have, America used to be a place where you could express yourself and have freedom of speech without worrying about losing your life, right? Now, I've listened to Charlie on certain occasions here and there, and there was a lot of times I didn't agree with what he was saying. He did come off to me as racist. Um, his idea about DEI, his ideas about um, Juneteenth, his ideas about it, he just never really. I didn't see that side where everybody is talking about that he was Christian and this and that. Now take it. He did quote the scriptures a lot, and he did talk about scriptures a lot. Um, but at the same time, he would like contradict some of the scriptures. So it's this is not the time to point fingers, and that's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to say is that when you speak hate, when you sow seeds of hate, then you can't expect good things, right? So that's all I'm going to say on that. If you listen to some of his commentary, you'll see what I'm talking about. He actually did a segment. This was probably like 10 years ago, probably when Trump first took office, and he was making statements like, "We should have more deaths or something," he said, with guns because that will protect the Second Amendment. So, and this came from him. In fact, I may have to play that clip where he said, what, if we've got to defend it, we got to defend it, right? Again, no one should be killed. No one should be hurt. No one should be targeted for having a difference of opinion or having a different thought process as far as what they believe and what they think. Okay, no one should be killed. Let me make that clear. And that was a very horrific thing that happened yesterday. Okay, I'm just saying that sometimes it's what you put out. Okay, if you put out good things, you put out love, you'll receive love, right? But if you speak hate and you sow seeds of hate, then sometimes hatred comes back. And that's what I'm trying to say. Even if we're going to go biblical, the Bible says that vengeance is the Lord's. Okay. We don't know what angle to look at it. I'm just looking at it from what it is. Okay. There's a lot of people that say he was this and he was Christian and he was that, and maybe so. But then there was people that say, he was racist and he had a hatred for, minorities, and, he was trying to bring people together and this and that. And again, I didn't really study him like that. But again, no one deserves to get killed. No one deserves to get shot just simply because you disagree or you just don't see the same way of thinking, And it's sad. If you look at the video, guys, it was horrific. I've never seen anything like that on live footage. Okay, more investigations is coming out. More things are taking place. So it is sad. I think he was only like 31, 32 years old, and gone senselessly. It's terrible. It really is terrible. Now let's go ahead and go on to the next, because I want to talk about Trump revoking Secret Service for Kamala Harris. Okay. And let me say this too. Do you see where the National Guard is nowhere around? Do you see where the National Guard should be in Utah right now? You know, we had someone to get killed on live TV, but again, I don't see any force. I don't see anything. Okay. Now, this is another prime example where I'm trying to highlight today. Okay. The vice president, Kamala Harris, her Secret Service is getting revoked by Trump. Let's listen in on this. I'm going to let you know how I feel about this situation after it is over.
Vice President Kamala Harris. Former President Biden extended Harris's protective detail for an additional year on top of the 6 months she's required to have by law. Now the president's saying they can terminate that effective September 1st. How significant is that?
Yeah, it is significant. The former vice president, is about to do a very big book tour in just a couple of weeks that has her traveling around the country. This is very highly publicized. A spokesperson for the former vice president says simply that Harris is grateful to the U.S. Secret Service for their professionalism, dedication, and unwavering commitment to safety. Now, we do know that former President Biden had extended Harris's protection for an additional 12 months. That's on top of the 6 months that she was given by law because she is a former vice president. So that would have been a year and a half. That will now be cut short. That ends on September 1st based on this memo that President Trump has sent to the Secretary of Homeland Security saying that they are now authorized to end any security-related procedures as it comes to former Vice President Harris. And Diane, just have to mention that this is the latest in a list of people that the president has now canceled security protections for. It was a couple months ago that he did this for the Biden children, for former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, and John Bolton, his one-time national security advisor.
All right, this feels almost illegal to know, but our windows were so old and just desperately needed to be.
This is.
All right, guys. So you see on this instance, you know, we see this is the thing. This is why I have an issue with the laws that we have in place, right? On one end, we're all about Second Amendment, right? We're all about protecting. Okay. But now we have a minority who was vice president who technically she's supposed to be protected, right? But the president of the United States is revoking, he's taking away protection for Kamala Harris, as if to say, well, she can be a target. I'm not saying that that's what this is trying to be. I'm just saying that why are you taking away protection? Why? Wouldn't you want her to be protected as the vice president of the United States or former vice president? Right? This has never been happened before. All vice presidents have had protection after they leave. And see, this is where the double standard comes from when it comes to protection. Okay? When it comes to minorities, they don't care. They don't care what happens to you. You know, now she's going on a book tour. Oh, well, we'll just take her protection away, you know. But everybody's up in arms when it's Marjorie Taylor Greene, or if it's someone that, you know, is Caucasian. Oh, we better protect them at all costs. Okay. This is where I have the issue with that. Okay. And I'm not going to go in detail as far as what I feel, but I will say this. You know, going back to Charlie Kirk yesterday, you know, he has said some hateful things. I mean, and it is what it is. It really is what it is. Again, no one deserves to get killed, right? No one. Okay? Everybody should be able to speak what they feel. However, if you're aligning yourself with hate, and I keep telling people that, you know, then you can't expect good things. You just can't. It's God doesn't like ugly. He doesn't. And I'm not saying that to be negative. I'm just saying he doesn't like ugly. Okay? Now, let's listen in on Tabitha Speaks. She's got her 2 cents. That's somebody that I listen to on the political channel. And listen, everybody has their outtake. Everybody has their reasoning. But let's just listen in on some of the things that she has to say, and then I'll let you know how I feel about it.
Thursday Night Football on Prime is back. It's on.
Lots of questions from you guys in regards to the shooting of Charlie Kirk on yesterday. What are my thoughts? Do I have any opinions on it? You know I have thoughts. You know I have opinions. I needed to take some time to process my thoughts and opinions. And even now, I'm not 100% sure that I have thoroughly and fully processed my thoughts and opinions. However, I will say, as we move through this video, I will say that I am enjoying a delicious cup of coffee this morning in one of my pretty mugs that was gifted to me by one of my wonderful supporters, Twisted Like Poetry. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy this delicious cup of coffee in memory of Charlie Kirk. Needs more cream, but let's get into it. I wanted to show you this entire beautiful set. It comes with a little plate along with a little spoon. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy my coffee this morning. Listen, can I have empathy for the situation? Absolutely. I have empathy for the situation. I did not see the video, thank God. I did see a still shot of the moment. And I saw it not going out looking for it. Someone posted a photo of said situation in the comment section, in my comment section over on Threads. So I wasn't willingly looking for the visual because that type of gore and graphic that represents real life, that bothers me. That traumatized me. So I had to also deal with some trauma last night. That visual kind of like haunted me all night long. I think it's sad. I think it's sad that he had to go out that way. But I will not come in here and try to pretend that Charlie Kirk was anything other than a racist white supremacist, a homophobe, a transphobe. He incited violence against my community regularly. He denigrated my community regularly. He tried to disrespect and denigrate Black people and their historical contributions to this country. He minimized us regularly. He dehumanized us regularly. I was not a fan of Charlie Kirk. I do have empathy for the situation. At the same time, I stand on the fact that what goes around comes around. I stand on karma is coming. I stand on hate begets hate. I stand on what you put out, you get back.
This is exactly how I was. She said it right on the head. You can't keep spilling hate. Okay, it's harsh, but it's the truth. Listen, if the shoe was on the other foot, and let's say something happened to one of us, I don't think Charlie Kirk would care. I don't. But she hit it right on the head. Okay. What you put out, you get back. You put out love, you receive love, right? You know? And she even said, we can have empathy. I have empathy. That's why I said in the beginning, you know, no one deserves to get killed. No one deserves to get hurt because of just voicing what they feel or their opinion. No one, no matter what race. Okay? But we can't just ignore everything else in between. Okay? So, but anyway, let's keep going.
Unfold. I stand on, vengeance is mine, said the Lord. That's what I stand on. And Charlie Kirk incited violence. Charlie Kirk said some of the most disgusting, heinous things in the past 10 years since Donald Trump came down that escalator. And at some point, Charlie Kirk was going to get his karma. Was I praying for it? No. Am I celebrating it? No.
So there you have it, guys. You know, people have their outtakes on it. You know, he's a human being at the end of the day, still. But you know, we have to keep it real. You know, I mean, that's basically what it boils down to. You know, if something had happened to her or me or somebody that's of color, like I said, I don't think he would care. Not at all. All right. But between us three, I see, again, we still can have empathy for people. You know, it doesn't mean that you don't care to the degree of humanity. Okay. Like I said, no one deserves to die. No one. Okay. Again, my heart and prayers go to the family. And, you know, this should be a wake-up call. This should be us pulling together as a country. You know, it's just like George Floyd. We saw him get murdered on TV. And I can go there. I really can go there. You know, people say, no, Tanya, don't do it. No, I can go there. You know, when we saw that man kneel on that black man's neck for almost 10 minutes, suffocating him to death. We saw a live murder on TV just 5 years ago. And I don't see the outrage. In fact, they made excuses for that, saying that he had drugs in his system and XYZ and blah, 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 instead of calling it for what it is. And the list goes on. You know, Breonna Taylor, shot right in her house. You know, there's no outrage on that. Okay. So this is what I'm saying. We're tired of the double standard. We're tired of protect these people, but take the protection away from these people. You're on your own. That's not right, right? That's not right. So anyway, guys, I had to break it down tonight, but you know, it's sad that this is where we come to in America. This is what we can't even talk now. You know, it's pretty sad. But again, we got to do better. We really, really got to do better. But anyway, guys, I will be back on Saturday. That's right. We're going to get back into the relationship channel. Listen, guys, I'm getting a lot of feedback on some things that we should cover. Let me know in the comments section if there's some topics, like I said, you want to talk about. Please hit me up in the comments section. And if you enjoyed this content today, please hit like, share, and subscribe. And also, if you can, please hit the notification bell. That way you won't miss any episodes every time I come on to YouTube. All right. All right, guys. So again, I will be back 8 p.m. on Saturday. We're going to get back into the relationship sector. Everybody enjoy the rest of their week, and I will talk with everyone soon. Take care. Bye-bye.